now we cut over to Miranda's apartment, her brand new apartment, and for which she paid blithely $150K over asking to secure before it hit the market. And this clip exists so that we can see, really absorb what wardrobe put this character in.
Miranda, you pulled this place together pretty fast.
Steve, I bought it fully furnished.
Okay, look at what she is wearing. It is like a maroon long knit skirt. Again, this is supposed to be summertime. It reads as knit to me, with white, like a white detail, like graphic that's very unattractive. And then on top of that, she's wearing this very loud yellow crew neck sweater. And it's got this horrible, like almost like a tic-tac-toe graphic in blue. I mean, she looks like she does have some kind of true undiagnosed mental disorder, like a mental illness. And that would track because, again, so many atrocities have been leveled against us by this show that until I get reminded, I forget, legitimately forget that we saw Cynthia Nixon and all of us were like, please don't go there. Please don't go there. And they did. They put her in bed with Rosie O'Donnell a few episodes back. And that is how bad this show is, because every week it tops itself until you forget a moment like that. Okay, so anyway, drowning in wealth, Miranda and Steve. In comes their loser son, Brady, the aspiring chef. This is a very underdeveloped character trait. They constantly have to give us expository dialogue, which is like, the stuff where they're like explaining motivations or characteristics that they can't otherwise elegantly just show and not tell, the way good dramatists should do. Okay, so now Brady is announcing that he's done at the slop heap that his father's running over at Coney Island, that little shack of hot dogs and fries, and he wants to go to culinary school now, and he's gonna impress them and try to get them to pay for it, which they're like, yeah, you're gonna get an education. Finally, you're gonna do something with yourself. He's 20 years old. He's still living at home. He's slinging burgers and fries on the boardwalk at Coney. Okay, so he presents them with their meal, and the camera makes a point to stop and look at the plate of food, and it's a mess. It's like there's spinach on there that is like just heavy with water that hasn't been drained, and the water is seeping into the fish, and he doesn't even get the importance of plating in fine dining, the art of presentation, which is yet another metaphor for this show. So anyway, Brady has some news. And his news is that he got someone pregnant, and it's a girl. We're back in the land of binaries now. We forgot that Miranda had been dating the non-binary, comic Che Diaz. So he got a girl pregnant, and he doesn't really know her last name, and he doesn't really care because she doesn't want him involved, and he's cool with that because now he can just go on and live his life. And this is the kind of garbage person these two are responsible for. And I have several other pieces of evidence I would like to submit to the court, if I may. Now, Steve, per the medical clinical definition, has been written as a dull person. Now, this classification is typically reserved for those adults who have difficulty finding the right words, who exhibit slower thought processes and reaction times, and who have difficulty concentrating, focusing, or comprehending. These people typically have an IQ of 80, and that is what they have done to Steve. Now, Miranda and Steve, who themselves Brady is the product of a surprise pregnancy that Miranda almost had an abortion, famously on Sex and the City, and then decided to keep the baby. That's pretty revolutionary stuff. But, again, Cynthia Nixon, the reports are, and they've not been denied because it's a flex for her. Cynthia Nixon said, I will come back only if you can turn Miranda into me, a miserable, humorless woman who has left her husband of many years and the father of her children/child for a lesbian, and becomes a humorless social justice warrior/activist. and, dresses terribly, dresses like she's like legally blind. No offense to those who struggle with legal blindness. It's real. But she spent season one. So she and she and Steve, excuse me, my thoughts are racing so quickly. I'm going to try to slow them down. They spent season one shrugging their shoulders at their teenage son, who was busy having loud sex all over their townhouse, and who would come down with whatever girl he was banging into the kitchen, half dressed and still sweaty and smelling of sex, to ask, like, where's their favorite ice cream carton? And Miranda and Steve would like shrug and what are we going to do? Wonk, wonk. So they're shocked. Again, that their 20-year-old son, who still lives at home and has no real career path or drive or ambition or truly a sense of responsibility as exhibited, knocked up some girl he was partying with while drunk one night. And they start yelling and carrying on like it's the end of the world, and a total shock that this is who they have raised. And Steve at one point yells at Brady, I will lay you out. Nobody talks like this. This woman who wrote this episode, she lives in Kalamazoo with her wife. I don't think she knows a lot of straight guys. I don't think she likes a lot of straight guys. And I don't think she knows how they talk. They don't talk like that. They don't talk like that. And now this is where Cynthia Nixon, the real Cynthia Nixon, comes out. The real Cynthia Nixon, who we recently saw on Instagram wearing her version of a MAGA cap, which instead read, "Make abortion great again." And again, as I've said, the most pro-life among us, I think we can agree, regard abortion as a tragedy. So Brady has told Miranda/Cynthia says, well, how far along is she? And Brady says, oh, she's visibly pregnant. Like, I ran into her on the street, like it's happening. She's visibly pregnant. Watch and listen very carefully to this exchange. Watch, here we go.
Okay. How pregnant is she?
Like, very. I bumped into her on the street where she works, and she was like clearly pregnant. She said that's the only reason she told me, because it was so obvious.
How do you know it's yours?
She said so.
But it sounds like she sleeps with a lot of people.
Where did you get that from?
Well, so do you know if she's planning to keep it or put it up for adoption?
Okay, number one, Cynthia Nixon also is a misogynist. She's a self-hating lesbian. She says to her son, who knocked up a stranger having unprotected sex, oh, she sounds like a whore. She sounds like the town bicycle. Now, when she says, do you think, is she going to keep it or give it up for adoption? After he says she's visibly pregnant, that's Cynthia saying, hey, guys out there, it's totally cool to abort a baby that could survive outside the womb at this point. Okay, she is disgusting. She is disgusting. And I really hope the worst for her career. She is such a piece of shit. Okay, now it's time for a tone shift. Now, after Steve again yells at Brady, and I quote, you have fucked up your entire life, which, imagine your son, who full well knows his origin story, that he was an unplanned pregnancy between a parent. Miranda and Steve were not together when she got pregnant by him. Remember, he was getting, he had testicular cancer, and was having one of his testicles amputated, and she gave him what he called a mercy F, and then she got pregnant. So then Steve tells Brady, you have fucked up your entire life. Literal dialogue. What does this writer think the character of Brady is going to interpret? That he was a huge mistake, and that Steve would have had a much better life if he hadn't been. There's only one way to interpret that shit. Okay, so then Cynthia, as Miranda, does a three-way call with her pals Carrie and Charlotte. Now, we just had a very dramatic scene in which this 20-year-old kid, who is a loser but was nonetheless traumatized and has terrible parents, so little wonder, she's calling them for some solace and advice. Why you would go to Carrie Bradshaw for advice, I have no idea. Anyway, she's calling them for advice. Now, note the music underneath, and this scene follows directly the big fight scene at the dining room table. Take a look.
Okay, Brady got somebody pregnant.
Oh, no.
Oh, my. He came over to dinner tonight and dropped that bomb on Steve and me.
I didn't even know Brady was seeing anyone.
He isn't. She was just a hookup.
Oh no! Oh, that's my worst nightmare. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm making this about me. This is about you.
Please, can it be about somebody else?
Well,
Okay, two things. I don't know that we were able to hear the score in that clip, but it is a very whimsical score that is meant to tell the audience to take this scene for laughs. So we just went from high drama, your life is ruined, what have you done, to, oh my God, you guys, can you believe it? Brady's so wacky. He knocked up some filthy Brooklyn hipster. God. Now, I do wish Mad Magazine, much as I wish Andy Warhol was still with us, the Mad Magazine of the 80s, when it was really at its peak, satirical glory and vengeance, what they would have done to this, what they would have done to Sarah Jessica Parker. I can only imagine. Now, the moment when Miranda says, oh my God, can we make this about somebody else? And Carrie goes, well, I mean, I was like fully expecting her to go, you know what? There's this hot guy downstairs who I can just tell is crazy about me. Just like every man in Manhattan. He's just crazy about me because that's what she always did. That's what she always did. And it reminded me, it was such a callback to Carrie in Sex and the City calling Miranda to agonize. And really it's a humble brag because she got her book reviewed in the Times by like the A+ then book reviewer, a real person, Michiko Kakutani. And Miranda's like 9 months pregnant, or she just had the baby. She just had the baby. She barely has time to shower. She's like comatose from lack of sleep. She's the Walking Dead. Her hair is greasy. She's trying to get to work, and Carrie's going on and on and on. And finally, Miranda says, "You know what, Carrie? Some of us have real problems." And Carrie goes, "Oh my God, you're right. But can I just go on for another 5 minutes?" That's Carrie. That's Sarah Jessica Parker. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little breathing room. It's possible when you call American Financing today. If you are feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas bills piling up, you are not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and there doesn't seem to be a way out in the near future. This is where American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. So call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments anymore. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. And their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 a year raise. This is fast, it's simple, and it could save your budget this summer. So call now before it's too late. 866-885-1332. That's 866-885-1332, or visit americanfinancing.net/nerve.